Hi guys, I'm Ian with Dayton Hardwood Company. This is my Festool Kapex KSC 60EB cordless miter saw. This thing's amazing. It's cordless, it's a miter saw, and it's a Festool. So the dust extraction's amazing. The accuracy is amazing. The battery life is okay, and it's a Festool. I mean, if you've ever used any other Festool tools or have used a Capex saw, you already know that it's worth the value. But if you're watching this video, you're probably waiting for me to give you a reason to tell you why you should get this instead of like a Milwaukee or a DeWalt or a Rigid or a Ryobi or any of those other ones. I've had most of those other ones. I haven't had Ryobi, but the accuracy is a big, huge difference between this one and any of those others. You can spend all kinds of time trying to dial a 7-inch Milwaukee saw into perfectly square, and for some reason it won't stay there. This thing comes from the factory that way, and you almost never have to adjust it. And if you do, it's super easy to do. Um, I've never seen a miter saw that has a speed adjustment on the motor, which this does somewhere. There's a speed knob like any other fast tool. Um, it's something that I basically have never used before. I always leave it on 6, but it goes all the way down to 1. And I'd imagine that could be useful for something. I know for the vacuum, sometimes I turn it down real low if I'm trying to lightly clean an area or something on a workpiece I'm working on. So when I turn that motor down to 1 for a reason that I haven't figured out yet, I'll come and make a video and let you guys know. But it's cool that you can. These slides are incredibly sturdy. You get a ton of sliding action for as small and compact as this saw is. I think you can cut up to like 12-inch material with it accurately. Um, it miters both directions on the compound, which I think is amazing, and I know some of the other ones don't do. So let me put this over to 0, show you what I mean. There's a lock on the back, you unlock it, and there's a little stop button here. I don't know if you knew about Festool, but most of the parts that you see on a Festool that are colored green are like a button that activates something or do something. So here is a lock for this compound miter that goes 45 degrees in that direction and then back again that direction. If you want to engage the full angle, you'll have to take these off, which is also very easy to do when they're not clamped down super tight, but some gorilla hands got on it last time. Those just come off just like this. Oh, you gotta loosen it all the way. And then like I said, you push that button and now watch. Bam! This thing will miter in any direction. Compound. 45, 45. Bam. And speaking of 45, here's something else that's really cool and handy about this saw that the other ones don't do. It'll go to 45 degrees in either direction, but guess what? It'll go to 60 degrees in either direction. How many times do I find myself cutting something 60 degrees? Not very often, but when I find that it is necessary for some reason, I absolutely love that I can. Um, I'm always doing weird shit with saws. If you guys are making floors, you know that angles are always weird, and sometimes you need to cut some, knife blade looking piece, and you don't always want to do it on a table saw. And if you have a miter saw, chop saw, where you can sit here and just bzz, 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 do all that stuff, it's awesome. This comes with 5 amp hour batteries. To me, I don't think any of the saws should come with 5 amp hour batteries. I think this and the table saw should both come with 8 amp hour batteries. These last a lot longer, are bulkier, and they're just more equipped for all days worth of work. So if this wasn't expensive enough already, you got to upgrade the batteries and make it more expensive. Do you have to? No. Can you use the 5 amps? For sure. Another really cool thing about Festool cordless stuff is that it charges really fast. So, like when I got this, I got the table saw along with it. I will charge one set of batteries while using another, and by the time I need the ones that are charging, they're almost fully charged. Um, So they charge super quick in comparison to like these. This, 9 amp hour DeWalt versus this 8 amp hour Festool. I bet this charges twice as fast. In fact, I should run these to dad and make a video, and we'll decide for ourselves which one's faster. Battery's super easy to load up. You just pop one in the bottom, like so. Maybe never stood back here and done it. And you pop one in the top, like so. Up here is your lock. Up here's another safety mechanism. Festool, German, don't want you to cut your hands off. I don't want to either. I'm American, but I also don't really give a fuck. That's how you engage it. One thing I think could be better about this saw would be ambidextrous use. This is set up very much for a right-handed person. As you know, if you're using a miter saw, like me at least, sometimes you got to reach over that thing and over here and and so sometimes you need to use your left hand. So having these sort of safety mechanisms only on one side, like this button right here, kind of a pain, but also you get used to using it with both hands once you figure it out. I'm highly skilled at using my saws and other equipment in super unsafe ways. So that's just something you got to train yourself on. Trying to think if there's any other cool features on this. Oh, there is. And it's something that I figured out like a week ago, and I've had this saw for like over a year. So, first of all, the stand that they sell with it isn't very mobile and kind of sucks. Definitely not worth the money. I bought it, used it for like a year, and then ended up getting rid of it and building what the camera's standing on right now, which is a mobile workbench out of wood and sawhorses that I made threaded screws that go through here and mount this thing to. Again, I'll show you guys that setup later. That's really cool. Was pretty cheap and easy to build and way more versatile than the like $800 thing that Festool sells you. But the thing that I discovered that this does that the old stand was restricting it from is this. That's cool as hell. I mean, adding the extra 6 or 8 inches of like hold space for your work material can make this so much safer and so much more versatile. Because again, in the same way you've probably held, a work piece over here with one hand and reached over to the trigger with the other unsafely because you have to support material on one side or the other. This will at least help you do that. So, I know most people use saws unsafely in ways that they shouldn't, and you learn that you can get away with things, and hopefully you learn that with all 10 of your fingers. But I'm not going to tell you to use your saw improperly. I'm just going to show you how I do it. But yeah, those are all the cool features of this thing. One other thing that I always forget to mention about Festool that make it worth its weight in gold is this, the dust extractor. This is made to go in any other tool. So it just plugs right in the back. And then with the cordless battery, that's Bluetooth, you hit the Bluetooth button on the vacuum. And then when you hit this, the vacuum starts up and then stays on for like 5 or 6 seconds after the saw disengages. And that's to keep any dust from going up in the air. You probably want to see this thing cut something and watch that in action. So here's a piece of hickory flooring. It doesn't collect 100% of the dust, but what it does do is keep shit from going airborne and getting in your lungs and getting in your client's house. Super clean cut, super hard hickory, no airborne dust, a little bit on the saw, but that's easy to clean up. This thing's amazing. You need a dust extractor, you need a Festool saw, you need all things Festool, trust me. I started out years and years ago with all the cheap shit and worked my way up to this stuff that I'm showing you today. I know it's expensive. I know it's hard to get. I know you can't roll out of bed and afford it tomorrow, but if you have aspirations, you'll get there one day. If you have any questions about this or about any of this, or about floors, comment below. Please make sure that you follow or subscribe, and like, because that helps these videos get in the algorithm, and you want to see more of these videos and your friends want to see more of these videos. So I love you. Thanks for watching.